Good evening, everyone. Now you guys have to answer now. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. How are you? How are we doing so far? Good. Okay, so every time young adults gather, relationships are always a hot topic. It's not how you want to do it. We try to do a poll on IG to see whether you want to talk about evangelism or relationships. We're here. So you know how that went. Well, actually, to be fair, it was almost tied, but this one still won. So, um, let's sit down first. Thank you. On this side, I don't know whether it's left or right. This side, I have Pastor Tomide. I think I should give it up for Pastor Tomide. He's incredible. Sometimes I'm just like, how do you do all the things you do? Dad to twins, husband, director of so much, honestly. Just the grace of God. How are you doing tonight?
I am excellent, doing
That's
well.
great, thank you. My name is Fokbaya. In case you don't know me, that would be hard, but I'm Fokbaya. Wow, I don't know if that was proud, but I promise I'm humble. Let me catch my breath. This is Tumi. How are you doing, Tumi?
I'm good.
Tumi is an author of a relationship book as well. I wrote Situationship, How to Stop Breaking Your Own Heart. I'm very interested in relationships. And Pastor T is here to be the balance of, experience, but also like as a pastor. Whenever we do things at New Spring, our thing is really, okay, what does the Bible say? So like we have our feelings and all, but what does the Bible say? So today's topic is not going to be all that different. Let me read to you kind of the gist of how I thought of it. So, have you ever heard someone tell you, don't settle in relationships? Yeah, and what, like, have you heard it before? Like, don't settle. Make sure, like, you go for gold. Don't settle. But then, what if there's a time to settle? I know. Do you think there's a time to settle? Like, or is it like you should stay till the end? But let me give you some context. So when we say don't settle, are there elements of our culture and what's popping in society right now that are creeping into our requirements? Or like, is this still the real deep values that matter that we're still thinking about? And is there a chance that we could be seeing more godly marriages if we had our priorities right? What are the right priorities versus the worldly ones? And at what point should you look at your awesome brother and sister in Christ and be like, you know what, let's stop playing all these dating games and get married? So that's our topic today. And I'm going to start us with a question for all our panelists. I'm one of them and I'm the moderator as well, so this should be fun. Does the Bible offer guidance on dating? If yes, can you tell us what you think it shows? I'll start with Pastor Tamidi.
Thank you. That's a good one. The Bible does, but I don't think it's very explicit. So it doesn't say, hey, before you go on a date with this guy, you must have this, right? So I think that's the first thing to admit. But the Bible actually does talk about what you should get into in a family and what your relationship should be like, right? So it's very important for us to try to find and try to dig out what God's stand is, what the Bible's stand is on getting into a relationship, because this is a lifelong commitment that you're stepping into, and it will hinder. God is very, very interested in this, because the type of relationship you have, or the type of home or marriage you have, will dictate or limit, in some cases, hopefully not, will limit the extent to which you can fulfill the call of God over your life. Everybody has a call of God, by the way. Everybody does have a call. So the type of relationship you have will predict and will sometimes limit or affect or impact the type of relationship you have. Sorry, not relationship. The extent to which you're able to do what God has programmed you to do. So, to address the question, what does the Bible say about getting into a relationship? I think the first thing it says is be careful not to be unequally yoked. And to be honest, the context of that scripture is not explicitly marriage, but it applies in the area of marriage. So the first thing is you must be in union with somebody that fears God. Because if the person doesn't fear God, but you fear God, but the Bible's telling you to submit to that person, then there's a conflict. Then it's just very confusing and very painful. You're going to have to live a double life in that regard. So I think the first thing that the Bible says is whoever you're getting into a relationship with must fear God, must be God fearing. I'll let Tumi pick it up from there.
Please.
I was just telling Esther when we're sitting that I think I'm old school. Everyone has their tab or whatever, and then I have a notebook. But then, if we think about the title, I mean the meaning of dating, like in our context, like, I think that this is my own understanding, guys, because I don't want anybody to beat me when I'm done with this. But like, it's the understanding, like you're meeting different people, you're in a relationship with them, and when it doesn't work, you break up with them. That's what I think dating is. Or maybe you're going out on different dates just to know if this person is compatible with you, right?
I think that's about it.
Okay. I feel like dating actually gives this contentment to a single. You know, you've been with different people and they don't click with you. So when you get to a point, you're like, I'm done with this. I'm not interested in doing this anymore. So what I think, or what I know that the Bible says about dating is that we should date purposefully. So when Pastor T said that you meet someone and the Bible says that do not be equally yoked with an unbeliever. Now you meet someone who is a believer, you meet someone that both of you know that, okay, we like each other, we want to start this relationship, and both of you have the common goal. The common goal is getting married. I think that's a purposeful dating. And that's what the Bible directs us to do, and then build a family upon and all that. But if you're just going to be dating in this other context, there are a lot of disadvantages. People see some advantages, but I feel like at some point you get tired. You're like, you know what, I'm just done. When the person comes, I will know. And the truth is, when the person actually comes, you do know. Just like what happened to Adam in the Bible. When, God created every other thing. He created everything, and then he told Adam to name them. He didn't give Adam an idea of what to name them. He just said, go and name them. And then he saw lion, named lion. He saw all those things, named them. Why didn't he name lion woman or tiger the bone of my bone? He just felt like these people are not compatible. Like, these things are not like me. We don't vibe. We don't relate. Just imagine if he saw lion, like, wow, this is the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. By now, it will be mixed with lion.
Oh, gosh.
So, but then God put him asleep and then took out of his bone and then created Eve. And then God woke him up and told him to see. God didn't tell him, guy, this is your wife. Go and meet her and tell her that God said this is my wife.
Which is another topic.
I'm throwing a shade there. But then he saw her and he was like, this is the bone of my bone, because she was taken from me. And he named her woman because she was taken from me. So that's God's plan for us majorly. He really wants us to know. He wants us to know. I don't want to go ahead, but I know we'll go ahead.
Okay. Thank you both. So, excellent points. And I think two verses that come to my mind when I think of, does the Bible offer guidance to dating, are do not awaken love, or how does it say? So Songs of Solomon, do not awaken love before it pleases. Basically, there's a time for certain things, and like doing it prematurely is one of the things that leads to all these problems, because like when you're not in a place where this can lead to marriage, then there's a longer season of trying to abstain from sex and potentially dealing with lust for a longer time. When you start too early, there's potential of breaking the other person's heart and just being a little too immature. So I think that's one of the great guidances. And I think that a lot of the principles for living as a Christian in general also just apply to, dating. So looking out for the best in each other, not trying to defraud the other person. And that defrauding one is interesting because even in the church, you'll be surprised that people are like double dipping. Like they'll be going to multiple people and saying God said. It's like, come on. So like that is defrauding people, and that
But wait,
is.
sorry, before you go, I saw a tweet this
Oh my God, I
evening.
saw it too. Do you guys know the one we're talking about? So, okay,
The
say
guy-
it.
the
Somebody
lady-
found out during announcement that their
Announcement
boyfriend
that
was
boyfriend
engaged.
was getting married in
just
the
like,
same church.
Gosh.
So it was like breakfast was served in the presence of the Lord.
It was, yeah, that is behavior that should not be found in among people that name the name of God. And to be very old, like, if we really are looking out for each other, then why are we doing that? So applying some of the principles of treating each other like brothers and sisters, it really helps to learn how to date as well. And this, let me go to my next question, which is an interesting one. Do you think, I'll start from you since I started from Pastor T last time, does dating in our current generation prepare us for divorce?
Oh yeah, because that's what I think. Because you've met different people, and then you have like it builds some kind of expectation in your mind. You're like you're expecting a lot of things to happen. You're expecting this person to be quote unquote perfect. And truth is, you can't always meet somebody that is 100% perfect. It's not possible. Even you're not 100% perfect. But then people have so much expectations, and they actually live their life expecting something from the other person all the time. I always say that I truly do not expect you to do all these things for me, but I expect that since I say I love you, I should do those things. And if you say you love me, you should do it. That's just it. So I'm not saying that you must do it, and if you don't do it, it's a problem with you. But we both say we love each other, so why can't we do them without anyone forcing anyone? Just do it effortlessly. So when it comes to the part where you both maybe don't connect, or you just connected in one particular point and then you don't connect in the other way, it makes you feel like I found somebody that was better. Why did I, because you feel like you have options.
Right, so yeah, you're testing the market.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just go back to where I was, and that's how I feel concerning dating.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor T. Does it prepare us does dating prepare us for divorce or marriage in the way we're doing it right now? And what do you think?
Okay. So I think there are two. There's two sides, or two ways you could look at the word dating.
Please.
I think that there's the first one is you see someone that looks like a potential, someone that you could spend your get married to,
Right.
and you just take out time to talk to them, take out time to go out for coffee or just talk for a period of time to just kind of
In that
hear them
setting,
out.
do you tell them that I'm checking you out because I think there's something here, or are you just like being friendly?
I think I think at a certain point, I think when things start to get really, let me use the word intimate,
Right.
the conversations start getting deeper. I think there's no hard and fast rule, but I think early on, as early as possible, I think you should put that out there. Not on the first date, maybe not on the first date. That might be too much, but I think you should. I think you should at some point. And not just be, oh my God.
Well, see, I have a question.
Guys do that a lot.
I have a
They just talk to the girl for so
I have
long.
a question. But don't you think that you can see what you're looking for at the first date? You can see everything you're looking for, and you can make up your mind at the first date and say, okay, I don't want to go back to see this guy again, or I want to continue.
Not all the time.
You can,
Because
but not all the time.
People, there's too
And
much
it depends,
packaging.
right?
There's too much of an
if
act.
it's somebody that you've been observing at New Spring for a couple of weeks, you've kind of had a chance to get to know a little bit about how they think. So maybe the first date is 2 hours long, and you guys have just said your whole life away, and you feel like there's something here. Even then, I would say maybe take it back in prayer some more, and then
Yes.
like
What if it's someone that you don't know?
And you don't
You
know
just
them
met
at
them
all.
at an event.
you might have that
Right.
feeling inside of you that maybe this is something, but I think it's a bit premature to just be like,
Okay, so I meet someone right now, and then we're vibing maybe at an event, and we're really vibing. And then I'm asking about, can't I ask the person about their religion or whatever at that point? I should just
religion is not we're not asking, but I was saying declaring its intentions that I'd like to
intention?
get to know you with the purpose of potential marriage on the first date. I mean,
No, you can't say that.
I think you have to gauge.
I think you have to gauge it. Okay, let
gauge
Pastor
it.
T
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
and then we'll
yeah.
come back.
Yeah. So I was saying that. So dating could just be, let's go out, let's go talk. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think the one that's not so good is if you get into a relationship with them, you guys get so intimate, and then you're not sure you want to get married to that person. You don't see all the qualities that you think you want, and you guys are just dating. You guys are just in a relationship, and then
Continue despite you knowing that this isn't going anywhere.
Yes, or you're not even thinking about it. I think what I've seen the most is, like most times in university, a lot of my friends, they were just in a relationship because they liked the person,
right?
Not because
that is the part of dating that I'm kind of getting at today. Just
Yes.
like we're just doing it because we like each other.
Yes, it's honestly it's nice. You have someone to talk to at night.
You have someone to buy you stuff on Valentine's.
But
and stuff.
honestly, the bad outweighs the good, in my opinion, from what I've seen in my experience.
Yeah.
The bad outweighs,
All
yes.
the time, actually.
It always leads to heartbreak. So
That's the
what
biggest
happens
one.
when you now find that person that, oh my God, this is my wife, and then you are with someone else, and you have to break up.
That's
with
what
that
leads to
girl
this thing where some
to
people
be
don't
with that
even
girl.
see anything.
Yes.
They just continue, or they're just like, you think you're still in a relationship, but that's just the part where situationships happen. Or things like the example of the tweet you just gave. Some people never formally say, because of the intimacy you've been building for so
Yes.
long, the person thinks that something is going on because
Yes.
you've invested so much of your heart and your time in it that you can't blame the person for catching feelings, really. But then you
Exactly. Yes. So that needs to be checked. Honestly, it's not worth it. It's not worth the investment. It's a lot of work to break off, and then it sets on some expectations that are sometimes not realistic. I think it's better to just have friends till you feel like, okay, I'm starting to get there, and then you can now start meeting people, but don't hide your intentions till don't just be talking to them for a long time. Guys do this a lot, and we need to address this. Talk to a girl, talk to her for so long, and she's like, oh, this guy, there's something, and ladies, they don't want to be the first person to initiate.
ladies, do it for a peace of your mind. Ask him
Sincerely,
what's going on here.
What do you want from
Some
me?
people are like, oh, say what are we? Say we're pencils, but no, we're not. Actually, ask. I'm not a fan of getting strung along. It's your life as well. So you're not just going to be like, oh, where's this going? This is when you now find out during announcement that is engaged to somebody else. Because I personally feel that you should give yourself a certain limit of, I can't go beyond this. I feel like I'm getting too close. Feelings are beginning to enter, and at that point, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
That's you should ask. Personally, for me, after that, if you don't answer what are we doing here, I stop picking your late night calls. I'm married now, but at the time, thank you. But at the time, stop picking late night calls, and then if you're not going to create a boundary, I create it for you because there's two of us in this. So it takes two people to not have boundaries. We're running out of time. I knew this conversation was going to be long. So if we don't finish today, which we will not, we'll continue in a YouTube video. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, New Spring Church Hamilton. We have fire topics like this always coming up. To me, I want to ask you something. With our world today, with the church, we have standards in the church about, no sex before marriage, find a God-fearing person, not the person I just saying they're going to church and stuff like that. Would you say it's harder to find people that are genuinely God-fearing, or is it that people are just being too picky?
I think that it is actually harder to find people that are God-fearing.
Is it because people in church are pretending, or is it because there are no people in church?
I feel like people are just playing church. Some people are just playing church. We come to church, we see each other, we see them lifting up holy hands and speaking in tongues. And you think that, oh my God, that guy that's speaking in tongues is just the one for me. And then maybe he approaches you and you're good with the guy. At the end of the day, I would say that you should know him beyond the church. Get to know this person, both sides. Get to know this person at home, how they treat people, how they speak to their people older than them. If they're serving in the church, how they serve. Everyone can attend the church. Everyone can come to church and pray and do everything. But if they're committed to their service to God, there's something about service. That's how Christ actually shows us he loves us. He served us. The Bible says that the man should give himself to his wife as Christ loves the church. that he gave himself for it. When you see somebody that is serving in their department or whatever point in the church, you know that this person actually is intentional about the relationship with God. That's why you decided to serve God. Some people might be serving and they might not. They just like, oh, I just came to drum, or I'm so sorry. I just came to be on the system there. So that's why we have most guys. You know, I'm a single girl in this place. They are both married. But then, you see, those things, you need to look at it and see how this person is committed. Then you will know, okay, I think we can build on this. But if you're just a regular church goer, then you should know more about this person, because a lot of people have this.
So basically, don't say that just because this person is a leader or active in church. Like, get to know them. I created a video today, actually.
Yeah.
Plug to myself on like 10 ways to know like the person is the one. And one of them was like basically, the fruit of the Spirit is underrated. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. Self-control is a big one. You know, how do you speak to people? Are you addicted to pornography? That is not a sign of self-control. Are you submitting to people like your leaders in church? Things like that are like, they help grow you as a Christian. And many of the ththings that help grow you as a Christian actually just help make you a better person in general. But we're running out of time again, and I really want to ask Pastor T this question, so I'm going to just do it. Do you think that people should settle if someone isn't 100% their spec, but is like a Christian? And why is your spec important?
Okay, that's a good question. So I think that sometimes we have a list of things. Sometimes they're not the most important things. Many times, like physical like attributes are things on our list, and that shouldn't be priority on your list, honestly. You should be attracted to the person, but he's not like built like muscular, so I'm not gonna date him. He doesn't go to the gym. Not really. Those things don't really matter. And I'm speaking honestly. I'm speaking from experience. You're married. You have children. Your children are crying. It's not, oh, I look good. That doesn't solve the issue. Or there's challenges. Challenges happen.
There's so many things that happen that people don't share about a lot.
Challenges, like you're going through a tough time with maybe family members, maybe your in-laws. It's not her good looks that will fix it.
Yeah.
You know, it's that partnership, is the ability to come together, that friendship, come together, and how can we make this thing better? Even if I have to go under the bus, but how can we make this thing better? So you need more stronger qualities to make sure that your home works. So
qualities that matter in the long run.
Right. So qualities like the fear of God. Honestly, the fear of God is so important, because the fear of God will make you, when you're wrong, when you're right, when you're wrong, but you don't want to admit you're wrong.
Holy Spirit would check you.
The fear of God, the inward witness would make you just, calm down, put your ego down,
you
to
allow
the marriage go forward.
Who are you?
Exactly.
I just wanted to add to what Pastor T said briefly.
Wait, hold on. While Timmy is speaking, we'll take 2 questions. So if you're comfortable enough to come out and ask your question, we'll take it. If you're ready, you just come over in front, and then while Timmy speaks, after that, we'll take it.
Okay. So before you get to the point where you actually forget the looks, forget all those things, Pastor T just said, you have to say yes to some things. You have to say yes to Jesus. Say yes to purpose for your purpose, the reason why you were created. Then you can say yes to loving yourself. When you understand yourself, you understand your purpose, you're in Christ Jesus, then when you're picking a partner, it would be more than the looks. It would be more than how the person even speaks. Maybe their voice is deeper or their voice is not deep. Some other amazing things that we ladies look for. It will be more of how do we do life together? How do we do this purpose thing together? Or how do we connect? How are we going to build maybe the kingdom or our families together? So I feel like those 3 things we should look at before we say yes to the right partner for us.
What I'm hearing you say is you don't necessarily marry who you want. You also marry who you are. Like, if you're not built to this level where you appreciate those things, you will end up looking for superficial things. It's kind of
True.
it. So keep building yourself. Any questions we can take? Please come up. Do you have a mic already?
Just can we give a round of applause?
There. You can just get mine. Does it work?
Yes, it's working. Thank you guys so much for sharing your perspective. But this question I'm about to ask it's pretty crucial because I feel a lot of but in general, people tend to over spiritualize a lot of things. And unfortunately, you're not gonna cook in the spirit. You're not gonna make love in the spirit. All those things are
Wow!
no to be
Preach!
And so my point is, how do you find a balance? Yes, it's not good to be superficial.
Yes.
It's good to look at the spiritual aspects. It's good to look at qualities beyond the physical, but at the same time,
How do you assess?
How do you get to that point whereby you see someone, they could just check all the boxes, but you're not physically and sexually attracted to what you see?
So they are spiritual and everything. Okay, Pastor T, do you want
To be
to address
honest,
it first?
before I answer your
I've seen this
question.
thing cause a lot of problems for people, and they'll say, "Oh, you know what? I had a nudge in my spirit to marry him. I had a nudge in my spirit to marry her, but I'm not attracted to them."
Excellent question.
That question is actually really
Wait, hold
deep.
on. Don't go yet. Pastor T, you're first.
My opinion to that question is, you said he checks the spiritual, like he's God-fearing check. Do you guys have a friendship? Do you feel like this is someone you can partner with?
It's a good question with friendship. Friendship. Okay.
Yes. If that checks, honestly, I would say go ahead. 2 out of 3.
When
It
to set
checks. I would say go ahead. Honestly, because so you mentioned that you had that inward witness, because the inward witness is God telling you. I'm not saying you.
We're always asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, right? The inward witness. If the inward witness says go ahead, I would say go ahead. And I think that friendship builds intimacy from what I've seen, what I've experienced. So friendship would help you guys to be more intimate. But if you, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. If he checks that and the inward witness says, this is the guy, but you're not really attracted. I feel like that can come with friendship. That's my
30
opinion.
seconds to me.
Okay, I really don't have a direct answer to that question. But to be honest, I told God that if you're bringing this person to me and I'm not attracted, please don't. Like, I feel like you can actually... No, to be sincere with you, I feel we should be vulnerable with these things. You're going to find everything you're looking for, but I'm like, God, give me everything I'm looking for so that I would be able to...
Let me balance it out.
Not
Bring it back to
everything-
you. So I think that if friendship and spirituality check, go ahead to start a relationship. I believe that attraction will follow as you go. But if at the point of committing, maybe with an engagement, this is still not there, then you can
You have
take
to look
a
at
step
it,
back
yeah.
Yes.
and potentially break up. But you don't need attraction to get into a relationship.
I was gonna say that sometimes it's because the guy hasn't, like, he doesn't dress well. He's still growing. He's still maturing. So he hasn't matured to that level, right? Maybe he doesn't have money, or he doesn't have the expertise.
Money
that
is also
needs.
Money
an
changes
aspect of
things,
attraction.
right?
In a
But
few
anyway,
years, this guy will be
You guys
fine.
know what Davido
When
said
money
now.
comes.
When money comes.
Okay, one last question. This person, I told you to be bold, but he's not. Anyways, we'll take it. Does God have the one? Is there a wrong time? Is there a wrong person, right time, or vice versa? The first question, no, there's no the one. I personally believe that it doesn't even work logically, because if one person marries the wrong person, then we're all screwed. So, because how's it going to work? Okay, sorry. Just wrapping this one up. So, I don't think it works that way, but there are principles in the Bible on on how to choose, how to do life, on what to look for. And then couple all these things with finding somebody that has the same core values with you. And then find somebody that wants to also marry you as you want to marry them. Like, there's a lot of things to check off. And then, so there's no one. They're just people that are better fits for us based on our knowledge of what God has for our lives and what the person wants to do with their own life, and whether you agree with their vision for their life, and whether the people around you also endorse them as a great choice for you, like people that you respect and honor, your leaders, your parents, if they're godly as well, and your friends. So, and then other characteristics like their maturity and all of that good stuff. We are totally out of time. But I want to honor your question because you did right. So please, can you pass him the mic so he can... Oh, you do? Is it on? AV, please help us. If not, you can just jog up and I'll give you my mic.
Does age play a factor
I don't
In what
think-
way? Is it like too young, too old, or what?
talking about dating and leading to like, does the dating, this generation lead to like divorce or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
You know that like pretty much like when it comes to dating, pretty much people that are looking to marry, will obviously date. But if you look at the new generation right now, age ranging from 20 to 20. There's a particular age, where
Okay.
a woman have to be to get married. Does age play a factor? Like,
I get it.
you know
So,
what I mean?
two things I will answer with. I personally believe wait to date till you can marry. And I'm a proponent of fast dating, but I will let Pastor T also answer because he dated his now wife for 6 years.
Yes, 10.
6 years before we got married.
Okay.
And we were
So,
married for 3+
What's
years.
your perspective on this? So that we're not also just giving our experience alone, but like, what?
Yeah, I would say, I think it's really hard with the pressure, especially in school when everybody's in a relationship. So you're just forced. I'm talking about school, like high school. What I've seen is that it doesn't usually work. Like it doesn't usually lead to marriage.
So what's the point of the experience?
Yeah, so we advise people not to. If you're not like you're in high school, you're not. There's like another 10 years ahead of you before you actually get married. So I think that when it's too early, when you're not really ready for marriage, it could just be you guys are just in a
How about in
relationship.
uni then?
I think it has to do with
about what?
maturity as well.
Uni.
It's maturity.
Yeah,
It's
maturity.
maturity. So it's not really an age thing, but
Yeah.
if you're too young, there's a high probability that you're not mature enough
Yeah.
to handle a relationship.
And there's some things you should have achieved before
Yes.
getting married. If you don't have all those things, I don't think that you should jump into getting married as
Yes.
well.
So I think the rule of thumb is treat it like you're getting into a marriage. Like, are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are, then with counseling, like with a lot of accountability, because you don't want to mess it up. Just then you can seek help and they can help you. But if you're not, then maybe you shouldn't. Like maybe you should just try to wait. I know it's really hard, but I think it's the safest thing to do. So I don't think it's an age thing. I don't think there's a particular age.
Yeah.
But I think it's the maturity. Many times it's just here in your head.
Yeah.
But I think it's more maturity than age.
Honestly, I'll ask the final thoughts, but I think we wait too long. Personally, I think that our society, if we really wanted to, if we really were training people up in a way that maturity came with like as you're growing, because before marriage age was younger, but now we're pushing it because of
Yes.
like higher education and other things, which is helpful, but we're really pushing it. And if we were being groomed in a way that at 22 you really are mature,
Yes.
then it would be so much easier. But now you have like 30-year-old babies and it's really stressful. But final words are like, I will start with mine and then I'll pass it on and then we just call it wrap it for the night. Dating community. Oh guys, we're out of time.
But no, I think we should.
I'll let you call it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
There we go.
I have a question. So, say you're dating someone for like a very long time, and like they meet all your boxes, but like they're not Christian. Should you still marry them or like
No,
find
sir.
I don't
someone?
think you should because it could hinder your like say you feel like say one day you're 40, God tells you feel like God is leading you to do a certain thing that's totally like not countercultural or not conventional. Your spouse will hinder you from doing that, and that's really bad. So I would say absolute no. It doesn't matter how good they look, how much your friendship is.
Or how much time you've invested.
Yes, because it would just, and let's say that's the one thing that would actually give you the fulfillment, that means you would lose that. So I think if we look at it long-term, big picture, it's better to just stick to someone that's a believer.
Okay, final thoughts on dating.
Final thoughts, marriage doesn't have to, you don't have to have $1 million to get into a marriage. You don't have to be 30, please. It's a maturity thing. Dating should be purposeful. Ask questions like don't just date anybody. Don't date because you have a crush. Like don't do it because crushes fade. That's all I'm gonna say.
Crushes crash. Sorry. Okay.
Okay,
Yes. Final thoughts.
I'm so sorry, guys. I don't think I'll take any questions because I'm seeing some
I
hands.
apologize, but we're out of time. If you
Sorry.
send it to us as a DM, we can make a whole video about your question.
Yeah. So
DM
my
on
final
_Hamilton.
my final words would be I would say that if you are single and you're not ready to get married, please just enjoy your single time alone and just build yourself. Try to love yourself. Try to appreciate yourself and know what you want, know what you need, know who you are. Marriage is for two whole people, not two halves. If you are whole, then you know that you can't keep dating people and think they complete you or you complete me.
Yeah.
The person break your heart, then another person completes you again. So you need to be completing yourself and then go into a relationship. God bless you.
Well, please put your hands together for our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us
Awesome.
today.
Wow, thank you, Fopsy.
Thank you.
Please, everybody, go get married. Marriage is good. Honestly, marriage is really
Honestly, cannot recommend it enough.
good. Yeah, marriage is good. There are many things that you wouldn't be able to do except you're married. Excellent. So thank you, Fopsy, for that panel, and thank you to everybody for being here.